Okay, this is our last Halloween if then. We were moving on to Thanksgiving, and that's a bad sign when that decreases like that. If the sound goes on this, please let Best Buy and Hewlett Packard know they are liars because they tell me there is absolutely nothing wrong with my computer, and yet halfway, sometimes the video starts garbled, sometimes 10 minutes in it's garbled, sometimes 20 minutes in it's garbled, but at some point it gets garbled, and unfortunately all the backup computers are dead. They're dead. So this is it. You've all I've got. I spent too much money on you and I'm stuck with you. So, please check out my Star Trek Next Generation recaps on Fridays, my If Thens Friday afternoons, and of course, Flashback Monday, where we talk about all the books in this Romantic Times book review magazine. Right now, for 2007, it's called Romantic Times. Later on, it's called RT Book Reviews. It gets changed. I think, here it is, RT. Welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina KRSTINA. This is where I read books, talk about books. I was cold today. I have my other shirt on, but I was cold, so I put my sweater on top of it. I figured blue on blue. So it is really freezing in this house. So I can't wait to start moving on to Thanksgiving. Those were really hard to find, so I hope you appreciate all those. I hope you have watched all the horror, suspense, thriller, all of those. I hope you check all of those out. So this is our last cozy. This was just the last few that I decided to mention. These are this is called Extra Cozy Halloween. I did a cozy 2 weeks ago. Then I did a not so cozy last week. So this is my last cozy Halloween. We're going to go into Thanksgiving next week. So these are cute. There's a couple of them that I may do extra on. Laura Levine, Death of a Neighborhood Witch. These are so cute. Halloween is just around the corner, and between cauldrons of candy and delicious cute neighbor Jane Austen is struggling to resist her sweet tooth. But this year, her once humdrum neighborhood seems to be handing out more tricks than treats. When her faithful feline Prozac, she named her cat Prozac, unwittingly scares to death a parakeet belonging to the neighborhood's resident curmudgeon, Jane finds herself knee-deep in toil and trouble. The cantankerous Hollywood has-been once played the part of Cryptessa Muldrum's television's fourth most famous monster man. Now a bitter, paranoid old dame, Cypress spends her days making enemies with everyone on the street, and accidental bird killer Janie is no exception. So when the ornery D-lister is murdered with her own do not trespass sign on Halloween night, the neighborhood fills with relief and possible culprits. Laura Childs, Fiber and Brimstone. With its history of spooky folklore, New Orleans offers the perfect atmosphere for Halloween. But when real corpses start turning up in time for the Day of the Dead festivities, scrappy sleuth Carmela Bertrand once again dresses up as a detective in time for the holiday. With help of her best friend Ava Gruex, Carmela is building a giant monster puppet for the French Quarter's Gala Halloween Monsters and Mayhem Torchlight Parade. Things get terrifying earlier than expected when they overhear an argument between Jekyll Hyde and Brett Fowler, and just minutes later they find Fowler's body, his heart pierced by razor-sharp horns of a gigantic minotaur head. A little not-so-mystery. Murder by Gravity, The Coffin Quilt, Barbara Graham. Snow before Halloween. The residents of Tiny Park County, Tennessee, are shocked by the unusual weather. Sheriff Tony Abernathy and his small staff are scurrying to deal with the resulting accident and performing extra services like finding lost dogs and lighting furnaces. In the midst of this activity, human bones are discovered in a root cellar. The sheriff isn't the only person dealing with problems. His wife, Theo, is shocked to see a woman shopping at the grocery store with a knife embedded in her back. And even stranger, the woman seems unaware of the problem. Okay. There's a knife in your back and you don't know about it? You gotta check that one out. What did I do with the... Oh, I do have one. Hex marks the spot. I just thought I'd throw this in. I had this. So I just thought I'd throw it in. Let's see here. I hope my audio is still with us. I have a feeling it's gone. Uh 4 stars. Hex marks the spot. Empath Maggie O'Neill works at an antique store in rural Indiana. When a handsome Amish man is murdered, she discovers a hexing symbol near the body. The small community seems to attract danger, especially the Amish, who have been victimized by an unknown assailant. As Maggie senses the dark energy surrounding her, she feels an attraction to her friend Marcus, a dangerous man, the opposite of her on-again, off-again cop boyfriend Tom. But Maggie can't stop thinking about the dead man who had secrets that threaten the solidity of his marriage. Check that out. I got this out for something, and I missed it. It was one of those... Let me just see. I knew I got this out for some reason. It wasn't Child. It wasn't Graham. I know it was one of these 3. Levine. Oh, it was Levine. Let's just see what it says. Hilarious addition to the Jane Austen mystery series features Halloween festivities and the death of a crazy third-rate actress. Sharp dialogue, laugh-out-loud moments, and a scary good twist at the end makes this a delightful Halloween book. So that's what the magazine said. That's what the review was for that one. All right, let's just go on to some of these others. Death to a Wicked Witch, and I knew I should have looked this up. Lee Hollis. Bar Harbor, Maine is quieter in the off-season, but the population is growing with the arrival of Ted. After retiring, did it say anything in here? No, it doesn't. When Trudy tragically dies in her truck while catering a Halloween party, suspicion falls on the cranky competitive caterer who made veiled threats to Trudy. But the case becomes even more complicated when Haley's husband admits he's seen someone dressed as a witch hurrying away from the food truck. Not very helpful when countless women at the party wore the same costume. Check that out. Mrs. Mom and the Ghost. Sorry. A grieving young widow, Charlene needed a new start, so she bought historic mansion and sight unseen and drove from Chicago to New England to start turning it into a bed and breakfast. On her very first night in the house, she awakens to find a handsome man with startling blue eyes in her bedroom. Terror turns into utter disbelief when he politely introduces himself as Jack Strathmore and explains that he used to live here when he was alive. He firmly believes that someone pushed him down the stairs 3 years ago, and he won't be able to leave until someone figures out who. If Charlene wants to get her business up and running in time for the Halloween tourist rush and get this haunting house guest out of the way, she'll have to investigate. The truth be told, the ghost is starting to grow on her. Why don't she use him to do some hauntings in the house? Uh, 15 Minutes of Flame, a Nantucket candle maker mystery. When Stella's friend inherits a creaky abandoned home in Nantucket, she knows it's the perfect setting for the town's annual Halloween fundraiser. A deserted, boarded up building on the property, once used as a candle making shop, adds to the creepy ambience. But as Stella explores the shack's dilapidated walls, she discovers a terrible secret: the skeleton of a Quaker woman wrapped in a blood soaked clothing and hidden deep within a stone hearth. While police investigate, Stella wastes no time asking for help from friends with long ties to Nantucket's intricate history. The key to the murder may lie with a scorching 18th century love triangle that pit two best friends against one another over a dubious man. See what happens there. Crepe Suzette. I feel some food's coming on. Maya Corrigan. Crepe Suzette has been occupying a spare bedroom at Val's granddad's house while she takes classes in this Maryland Eastern Shore town. But she's always seemed a little secretive and fearful, and any talk about her past is a closed book. After winning the costume contest at the Halloween-themed bookstore, Suzette is mowed down by a hit-and-run driver, and Val and her grandfather start to wonder whether it was really an accident or if someone did it on purpose. Fudge! Fatal fudge swirl, again with the food. Former CIA librarian and amateur sleuth Riley Rhodes is loving her fresh start as the manager of Utterly Delicious Ice Cream Shop. That leaves our turning tourists, our leaf peeping, and Penniman, Connecticut is finishing touches on the weekend-long Halloween happening. But the village is also buzzing. Former child star Cooper Collins is overseeing the production of a romantic comedy that's filming on the town green. And his domineering socialite mother, Diantha, is planning her lavish Halloween-themed wedding at her inn on the green. Her fiancé has run the inn's kitchen for years. Adderley, aided by his recent ex-wife, Chef Mary Ann Dumas, and an old friend of Riley's, Mary Ann turns to her when the bride requests a spooky ice cream wedding cake. I don't know. I have seen some cakes online that are just so gorgeous I would never want to eat them. G.A. MCKEVETT, Murder in the Corn Maze. The roots of the Moonlight Magnolia Detective Agency reach back to the 1980s in the little town of McGill, Georgia, where Stella Reed and her 7 grandkids enjoy some spooky Halloween fun and stumble into murder. It doesn't take cash, just some good old-fashioned creativity to turn a pillowcase into a ghost costume or a trash can into a suit of armor. So even if she has to stick to a budget, Stella Reed always makes holidays like Halloween memorable for 12-year-old Savannah and the rest of her grandchildren. After joining the other townspeople for trick-or-treat and the annual parade down Main Street, Granny Reed and the kids head to Judge Patterson's Annabella Mansion where a corn maze awaits. Most of the youngsters are too terrified to make it all the way to the middle. It's lucky for them because Savannah and Granny get there. It proves to be even scarier when they expected half buried in the mud at the corner of the maze lies a human skull. Reading between the crimes. Kate Young. What better than Halloween to dig into a bracing discussion of dialogal murder, and what better choice for the Jane Doe book club than Agatha Christie's Crooked House? Lila Moody and her friends are soon embroiled in a debate over whether the heroine's actions are particularly believable, but not long after the meeting, Sleepy Sweet Mountain, Georgia, is rocked by a murder that uncannily echoes the novel in question. See what happens there. Barbara Allen, Antiques liquidation, trash and treasures mystery. 2 o'clock in the morning is the perfect time to be asleep, so when long-suffering Brandy Bourne is rudely awakened by her eccentric mother Vivian and invited on a surreptitious shopping trip, the idea is less than tempting. But if Vivian's Serenity true crime writing serpentarian superfluous has a nose for sniffing at antiques, Brandy's sense of smell is just as good and troubles on the wind. A little light blackmail and one ruin with the police later. Brandy and Vivian are the proud owners of a selection of dead stock, liberated ahead of upcoming warehouse sale from unsavory auctioneer Conrad Norris. Brandy is not convinced there's a fortune to be made in vintage toys, retro plates, and pearl buttons. There's more mileage in their shop's new Halloween display, even though it's only August. But suppose it could be worse. Of course, she could find a dead body. This is so cute. This is so cute. Laurie Berenson, Halloween Murder. As the town of Greenwich, Connecticut counts down to spooky celebration on October 31st, a horrifying murder leaves Melanie Travis poring for clues and a hair-raising game of trick-or-treat. With just a few days left before Halloween, everyone at Howard Academy is anticipating the guaranteed sugar high they'll experience from gorging on Harriet Bloom's famous marshmallow puffs. The private school's annual costume party revolves around the headmaster's assistant and her seemingly supernatural batches of gooey goodness. So it's a shock when Harriet's elderly neighbor is suddenly found dead with the beloved dessert in his hand. In a snap, police start questioning whether Harriet's modified her top secret recipe to include lethal poison. We've done all of this lady's books on my channel. If you want to know more about this book or the other books in the series, please check out all of my CAROLYN, HAINES, Delaney and Booth, Sarah Booth Delaney Mysteries reviews. We did them all last year. Please check them out if you want to know more information. We even did this book. It's Halloween season in Mississippi as Sarah Booth and the gang gather to decorate and gush over Tinky's new baby, Malin. Sarah Booth is just about to refresh the cocktails when she hears a knock on the door and opens it to find a woman named Frankie. Distraught at her disappearance of her daughter KRISTA, a young journalist, KRISTA had been investigating the disappearance of young women in New Orleans over a 5-year period of time. Every year on Halloween, now KRISTA finds herself is missing, and Frankie fears it may be connected to a cult based in the Garden District called People of Eternity. People of Eternity are known to have far-reaching connections that Frankie wonders may reach as high as law enforcement. Refusing to contact the authorities, she turns to the Delaney Detective Agency as her only hope. And there's a whole lot more to this story than the missing girl. They get involved in so much stuff. So please check this out. Please check out my reviews. We also did this series. So please check out the reviews for this. I like this because the title reminds me of the cast of Antamado, and I can say that word if I tried. The cast of Antamado. Edgar Allan Poe. It just reminds me of it. I love this series. We just did a new one of this a little while ago, so please check all the book reviews for this. We did them all. We did the whole series. Library Director Lindsay Norris is happy to learn the Briar Creek Public Library is the beneficiary of the Dorchester vast book collection. However, when Lindsay and the library staff arrive at the old Victorian estate to gather the books, things take a sinister turn when one of the bookcases receives a secret passageway and a dead body. I believe that's the skeleton. Skeleton found clutching a book, the collected works of Edgar Allan Poe. Alright. we've done all the domestics. We have done all the domestics, and we talked about the domestics in not last week's Not So Cozy, but the cozy Halloween before that. So please check out If Then 21 or 22 Halloween cozies. We mentioned Krista Davis and the Domestic Diva Does Time. We will talk about Domestic Diva Does, oh man, it was Domestic Diva Haunts a House. That's what that one. We will do Domestic Diva Runs Out of Time for Halloween. I mean, not Halloween, for Thanksgiving, because that's the Thanksgiving one. Haunts the House was Halloween, and Runs Out of Time is for Thanksgiving. So we will do that again. And I can leave my decorations up another month because they'll go for Thanksgiving too. This is another Krista Davis, a pen and ink mystery novel, Murder Outside the Lines. It's an interesting book. With Halloween just around the corner, the fall colors in Georgetown are brilliant. As manager of the Color Me Red bookstore, coloring book creator Flory Fox has arranged for psychic author Hilda Ratton Host to read from spooktacular ghost stories. But the celebrity medium arrives for the event in hysterics, insisting she just saw a foot sticking out of a rolled-up carpet in a nearby alley. Is someone trying to sweep murder under the rug? Flurry calls in her policeman Beau, but the carpet corpse has disappeared without a trace. We'll have to get into that. Now, this author I will be doing in a couple of days. You will see me again with her latest book. It's my wedding present to myself, wedding anniversary present to myself. So I will be getting this. You'll be seeing this in a couple weeks. But this is an older one, and I love them all. My favorite one is Flaming Fortune, I think, or something like that. The one where they jump out of the plane. It's on my channel. Just scroll through my channel, look up Jana Delaney and jumping out of plane, and it'll come up. But actually do all the videos. Do all of them. These are so much fun. These are so much fun. I didn't write the page down. But so they're going through let's see if I can find it now. Okay. So, we turned and looked across the park in the direction of the approaching horse, but it wasn't Sheriff Lee's Oatstead. This one was young, muscled, solid black, and running like a demon. The black-cloaked rider seemed to be holding on for dear life as he swayed in the saddle, but I had to give him props. The headless horseman costume was perfect if he had been missing his head. We watched as the horse approached, then realized that he was about to run into the crowd and hadn't slowed. I glanced over at Ida Bell, whose eyes had widened. Okay, this wasn't part of the show. Move, I said, and the crowd began to scramble like Israelites leaving Egypt as the horse ran through the middle of them. Complete chaos ensued, with people scrambling and screaming as the horse ran straight for us. It was about to shove the others and do a dive behind a tree, when the horse slid to a stop about 20 feet in front of us, and the head flew off the horseman. The speed and the height of the head when it launched resulted in a good amount of travel. It flew straight at Gertie, who involuntarily stuck her arms up and caught it, then immediately tossed it in the air where it landed squarely in Celia's arms. Celia screamed and started running, still clutching the head, then realized what she was doing, dropped it right in her own path. Her foot hit the head and she flew backward, legs over body, and landed in a butt-splashing heap on the ground. I didn't want to look, but couldn't help myself. Right in the middle of the big white spandex cotton pants was the Virgin Mary. I love these books. I love these books. They are so awesome. So that was If Then Cozy 34, I believe. I hope you watched Star Trek Next Generation earlier today. Fingers crossed this wasn't garbled. And please check out Flashback Monday, where we talk about all the books in this magazine. And have a good one. It's time for lunch. Enjoy. I hope this worked. I hope you found some new authors here. I really do. I don't know what else to do. If this is garbled, I'm going to cry. Have a good one.